moments will be lost in time. Like tears in...
Hello, everybody. Yo, deaf to death, still standing. Jacob Jones stand. Tragedy, read the weed. Yo, I can see now the last straw. Put me through that crap for nothing. Have me looking out the back door. Ask your friends their opinion. Something I don't need. If it's not alive, it won't bleed. You and I tried, but it died. Even at slow speeds, I was licking both knees. Sticking to you close while you were choking me slowly. Speak like you know me, but if you knew me, you wouldn't do this to me. You want it only the caged tiger waiting for the next wave to ride higher, higher flyer. Fight your fire with the live wire. Desire nothing anymore. Stop your attempts at high note bends. Voodoo spells a lockjaw because
how's your, or what's your question?
Insha, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you were 6, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Such a specific age.
Was it? Was this a question before?
Was it?
No.
Was it?
No. You know what? No, it was like, what would you want to teach or whatever?
I don't think that was a question.
I think there was one where if you were...
In my brain that like made it the same thing. Oh no, when I was 6, holy shit, what did I do when I was 6?
In school, probably.
I wanted to do photography.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
At such a young age, too.
Yeah, because I had a camera. Like, my dad got me a camera, and then I was trying to learn how to work it, and all I would just take pictures of is, like, hands and hair and faces and stuff, and I didn't know what was what.
Yeah, so they'd all be artsy and low angle, too, because you were 6, so presumably you were short.
But yeah, I think that, yeah, that sounds right. Cool. But, what about you, Tim?
Yeah, hold on. Photographer is such an odd thing at 6, though. Like, I don't even know if I was 6 years old, if I would think, yeah, that's something I would make money in.
Well, here's the thing. I watched The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby at 6, so I had every single non-conforming thing as a child. So I was just like, yeah, photography just sounds really cool.
I would also like to push back on Tim's point there by saying that it's very, very weird for a child when they're talking about what they want to be to grow up to consider making money.
You're right.
You're right. Like, well, obviously I'd like to be a chartered accountant because you could do well all over the place.
When I was
father put a camera in my hand, it was just like, make $60,000 or you can't do
it. Like, well, as long as I get enough clients and I get a good,
Here's my business plan, and away we go. I don't know what I wanted to be when I was 6, but for a long time I wanted to be an electrician, like before I decided to do what I am doing now.
Oh, that's interesting, because neither of your parents are electricians, right?
No.
So it's odd that you picked that up, because I know, like, my nephews, when they have to do that kind of thing, like, they waffle between different things, but, like, cabinet maker is always one of them, because their dad is a cabinet maker. So that's always in the mix. But it's weird that you would just pick electrician.
Yeah, like, I mean, my parents just worked mundane, like, factory jobs for a long time, right? Or my mom was a banker. Neither of those sounded interesting, so...
So you invented a different mundane job that's slightly more, like, spicy.
But at least that one you could work with your hands and...
Yeah, electrician.
Get electrocuted?
Yeah, there's always some danger.
I've done a ton of at-home... like light replacing and plug replacing and shit like that, and I mean the first couple houses burned out, but you get the hang of it.
Yeah. What about you?
It's pretty fun. It's relaxing and like it's like you're problem solving, kind of like, or I don't know.
What about you, Michael?
Paleontologist.
Oh, yep, that makes sense.
Jurassic Park,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of kids in my class wanted to be paleontologists growing up at that age, which didn't, looking back on it, it was very weird because it's like they found a lot of them. I don't think they need I don't think they really, I mean, they still occasionally find them and stuff, but
well, didn't recently they determined that like some of them had like feathers instead of scales?
Yes, very famously.
So
I don't even think it was that recent. I think since like the 90s they've been
Before or
questioning-
after Jurassic Park?
probably around and after. Yeah, I don't know. But I know they found the velociraptors in Jurassic Park are a lot bigger than velociraptors are in real life. Like velociraptors are only like 4 feet or something tall,
Alright.
and they made them like
Ooh.
6-7 feet tall in the movie.
don't
And but right after the movie came out, a new breed of raptor was discovered that was roughly the same size as the ones in the movie. So I think they named them like Raptorus Spielbergius or some shit. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't know. Like a 4-foot tall Velociraptor might be more terrifying, especially if you had a lot of them.
In the second one, they make those little compies very spooky. The little not rodent-y, but the little tiny guys. They fucking kill Peter Stormare. So they're pretty spooky.
Didn't they kill that little girl too?
I think they just fucked the little girl up.
Oh, okay.
Who was, what's her name?
Oh, Camilla Bell.
Camilla Bell. Camilla Bell, stronger than Peter Stormare. Jurassic Park confirmed. Welcome to Film Runners, the podcast where one of us chooses a film at least one of the others hasn't seen. We all watch it, and then we talk about it. And my name is Michael, and I'm with Tim
Hello.
and Insha.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello. This episode of Film Runners.
Hello.
Hello. This episode of Film
Hi.
Runners is sponsored by, I don't know, Ashley King and Aaron Zambi. There's some nice people. Go check out their creative work.
Connor's cool, too.
Hey, get out! You got the hell out of here, Connor. Yeah. Check out their various projects and work on the line.
Ashley King Art, Aaron Samby,
Photography.
.com, and thewoods.com.
Oh, there you go. The Woods.
Yeah.
I thought you said fostered by, and I'm just like, are we adopting them?
Fostered by.
Might as
No. They would be not adopting us, but we get to live with them and they have to pay our bills.
Carrying their weight around all the time.
What do you think fostering means? It's when you have strange children in your house that you sit on their shoulders. You think Luke Skywalker was fostering Yoda?
Well, he was in... Oh, wait. I was thinking about... Was Ben and Uncle Ben's wife fostering
What the fuck is that?
Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not Ben, Owen and Baru.
Yeah.
Oh, Owen and Brew, yeah. But
Yeah, they were like foster
Really?
parents. But I don't know if you count.
Yeah, I don't know if
relatives
you
as
count-
foster parents.
yeah, I don't know if you count blood relatives as foster parents.
No, but you're the one who brought it up, so it's weird to have.
I didn't bring it
strong
up.
opinion.
And she
You
brought
did.
it up. Because she
No,
misheard me.
technically
She
you-
never
technically
once
you said
mentioned
it.
Uncle Owen and Aunt Baru. She just mentioned fostering.
She's always talking about blue milk.
She is always talking about blue milk.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It was a me
Make
pick
up for
this
it.
week, guys.
Yeah, we can talk about the movie. It's like,
And this week I decided to choose Ong-Bak, the Muay Thai warrior. It could also be called the Thai warrior, the New Dragon, Enter the New Dragon, and in Vietnam, Ong-Bak, the hunt for the statue of Buddha.
that one's dope. I like that.
Pretty on the nose. From 2003, it stars Tony Jaa in a martial arts kung fu movie where a drug dealer comes by a village to buy an amulet, and he's denied, so he decides to steal the head of Buddha from this village. And Tony Jaa has to go and find it and bring it back to the village, and he goes to Bangkok to punch a bunch of people and hit them in the head with his elbows. So I've seen this movie, obviously, because I picked it, and Michael has also seen it, right?
Yep.
But Insha had not.
No.
So, Michael, tell me your initial thoughts.
I hadn't seen it in a long time. I watched it like a few times when it first came out, or like in the few years after it first came out. And I really liked it then, and I really like it now. If anything, I think the fact that it's a little dated at this point now gives it a kind of kitschiness that it didn't have the first time I watched it. But it's like a classic showcase type of movie for a performer. Like, Tony Jaa is a guy who can do fucking amazing stunts and fight scenes, so we're going to come up with a real bare bones plot to just put together a lot of set pieces for him to show off, and it works really well, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, they do that. I mean, when I first heard about this movie, somebody told me, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be the next Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And when you watch this, you can really tell that that's basically the movie that they were trying to make. Is they picked Tony Jaa, and they're like, yeah, he's going to be the next Bruce Lee. Let's make a film just so to get him introduced to American audiences.
Which it sounds like kind of cynical, but it's like that's how they should make action movies. Build it around a person who can actually sell the action. It's like, well, I mean, like you listed off those alternate titles. Clearly, in some territories, they were selling it as the next Bruce Lee, like the next Dragon or the new Dragon or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Insha, so what are your thoughts?
I love this. Because here's the thing. At times, it was so insanely ridiculous and like pure, just like, I'm making a movie, just love me for it, that I'm just like, I adore this, because I really like the culture of it all too, like not the religion aspect, but like this culture surrounding it. I'm just like, that's really interesting, because it's just like a world that I've like never seen before, only on 90 Day Fiance. And then like Tony Jaa is just silent through like most of this, and I'm just like, you're doing fantastic, sweetie, go for it. But then he should have just minded his own business when everything was happening around him, because I felt bad that he was getting like, he had to be in all these situations. I loved this for so many reasons.
He had to be in all these situations. He should have minded his own business. That sounds like a great movie.
Like, it was
Please, Tig, can you go retrieve the head of our Buddha statue? No, I'm not doing that. Mind my own business,
I would have said no. This is insane. All of
Ong-Bak can fuck off. I'm staying here.
Like, even when he was like fighting in the semicircle, and then they were just like, nah, you can't go. I'm like, why is this happening? But I loved every single bit of it. I loved it so much.
It is
so awesome.
It is funny that you mentioned that he's quiet for a lot of it, because he really is like almost a pleasant, simple idiot for part of it. Like, I think he's supposed to be more, a zen, like, country boy, but it does kind of come off as like Forrest Gumpy. Right. Forrest Gump could like kick ass.
And there were some pieces of dialogue too where I was just like, you are literally contradicting your own statement, where in the beginning he's like, Muay Thai is dangerous, never use it. I'm like, we're gonna use it because you have like an hour and a half left of this movie. What are you doing?
Well, that's not
no, hold on. No, I agree completely. There's this whole like exposition where they talk about his master. You should never use rope boxing. I killed a man once by rope boxing. You shouldn't do this anymore. And then the first chance he gets the rope box, he's lacing him up, and then he doesn't kill anybody with the rope. Like, I wanted to see him kill somebody accidentally with rope boxing, and then like have some consequences because of it.
No.
And then and then be like, oh, I'm never gonna do this again, and then he has to like wait throughout half the movie, and he has to be like, I'm never gonna use these hands for meanness again.
You're basically asking for a prologue showing the story that he was already warned about. The story was to set up the stakes of how dangerous it can be, and then of course he had to use it. He got pushed into the situation.
Yeah, but I wanted him to kill.
If he was like, "Oh, I can't use Muay Thai; it's too dangerous," and then he just didn't use it. That would have been so bad. It would have been horrible.
No, but there was
the rope boxing, and then you never saw him rope box. That would have been terrible.
No, you're right. I wanted to see him rope box, but I wanted him to kill somebody, and for him to be like, "Yes, my hands are too powerful for the common man."
He does, but at the very end, in the final fight scene, he puts rope on his one arm, and it's even the score is like da da da, and he fucking kills a bunch of people.
Well, I don't know if does anybody really die besides like the two at the end?
Yeah, a bunch of them died.
Oh wow.
I would think more so he just punched him out.
Yeah, even the guy who was like stabbed through the chest, that guy, you think he lived?
Yeah, I think he could have came back from it.
Nah, he killed a bunch of those people. Yeah, so what's you said the basic plot. I mean, it's bare bones. It's pretty...
Yeah, and I mean...
It is an interesting, because it's an interesting thing, like, concept, like, somebody stole our statue's head. It's so funny. Like, get Ong-Bak back. And then it's like, you know, country boy in the big city having to deal with the seediness for the first time, mixed with a little bit of, like, fighting competition, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
That's the story.
I will say it's kind of funny where, like, this whole movie is kicked off by Dawn stealing Ong-Bak's head, and Ting goes to Bangkok, and when we have that scene where Dawn's trying to sell the mob boss the head, he's like, no, I don't want it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. It's like,
And
it's
then
worthless rock. I don't give a shit.
You're right. And then at the end, his like big last score is to steal a gigantic Ong-Bak head.
Yeah.
And so, I don't get it, but I loved it.
It was also very funny when, like, cool scene when Ting, when they fall in the water and Ting comes across the other stolen, like, artifacts and statues and whatnot. And some of those are severed heads too. But it also makes it very confusing why the guy didn't want Ong-Bak.
Right.
Like, there were others that were the exact same size and style as Ong-Bak. And he seemed to need to keep those stashed away underwater. But I don't know why he didn't want Ong-Bak.
No.
I think, well, in the last scene, the big one,
Yeah.
did it have gold in it?
Oh, maybe.
Because it had like it had that big circle in it that was like shiny and yellow, and I was like, oh, maybe that's the thing that he wants.
No, but I think they've set up that like Dawn was trying to trying to buy the kind of Ong-Bak the Buddha amulet from the one villager, and that's why he stole the Ong-Bak. And then like Michael said, there was that scene where the Buddha heads were all in the water. So I think they set up that he's some sort of collector of...
Yeah, or like an artifact, like fencer or something. Like, I think he deals in artifacts in particular.
So I don't think he needed it just for the gold, but it is... I don't know what he was going to do with this gigantic Ong-Bak head.
I don't know why he didn't want Ong-Bak. I feel
Right.
bad. Yeah, what did you guys think of... So when Ting gets there, he contacts or tracks down Humley. Is that his name? George. He goes by George.
Yeah, George Hamlet.
Can I
George,
ask a question first?
And yeah.
When was the original Fast and the Furious made?
2000?
Yeah, 2001. 2000.
Okay, because there's like that little scene that...
Oh, that's street bike racing?
That it was just like, where is he going? To Havana? And then he doesn't go to Havana. He does. Anyway,
Tony Jaa is a member of the Fast and Furious family.
That's right.
Well, not the family, but the general family. Yeah, so there's George, who's this sort of like con man, trickstery guy, whose father is from, what's it called? Nong Credu or whatever? Yeah, the village that Ting is from. But he denies it. He's like, no, I don't know you. Even though he like fucking knows his exact name and everything. He's like, no, that's not true.
Humley's kind of a dick through most of this too. Like I didn't come around on Humley until the
very much
end.
Absolutely.
Hated Humley until closer to the end.
I didn't hate him because I found his not charming but entertaining, the con shit. Like when him and Muay are
they're doing the baccarat.
The card game cheating was cool. So I enjoyed him, but yeah, he's definitely taking advantage of poor dumb Ting for the most part. Like, it takes forever into the movie, even though Ting has fought people for him several times. It takes forever for George to be like, okay, I'll help you find Dawn. Like, it's a lot longer into the movie than I remembered before George was kind of on side with him.
Well, they had the first fight scene in the bar, and then the street chase, and then the second fight scene in the bar before he finally...
Yeah, it isn't until the second fight scene where he's like, hey, you do a couple more fights for me, and then I'll help you.
I'll help you find Ong-Bak.
Yeah. Like, you'd think the first time when Ting stopped all those people from like killing him, he would have been like, okay, I'll give you a hand.
But
I think that's why he kind of had to die at the end, because the movie was like, he redeemed himself, but he was still a piece of shit, so we'll just kill him off too.
Yeah, I think Moy was I like Moy better as the lovable scamp than
I did too.
Yeah, she was cool. I wanted more of her. And weird. So the thing with her sister was so weird.
Yeah. So here's the thing is that I read up on this is that there's in other cuts of the movie for other audiences there's a whole subplot with her and her sister.
I would have liked to see that version because I liked her, and the sister thing sort of came out of nowhere. In that I didn't pick it up earlier on, if it was even mentioned earlier on, and then George knew the lady overdosing, and then there was a scene where he was like, hey, everyone's gotta die sometime, don't beat yourself up about it. And I was like, that was her fucking sister?
Yeah, I think that's all that's all that we find out is that the girl that gets the cocaine shoved in her face was her sister, and that was it. But I think there's a bit longer subplot with that, and I don't know.
I would have liked to see that.
What I was reading doesn't show up. There's also a longer end fight scene, too.
Ooh.
And I thought that fight scene at the end was, like, pretty long.
Pretty long.
So.
Yeah, it was good. I was going to say, like, I would have liked a subplot, because I liked Moy, but this was a pretty good length. Like, solid length. Like,
I mean, even for, like, a kickboxing movie with no plot, like, an hour and 48 is still... It's cutting it pretty
long.
Close to the long, long side.
Yeah, any longer and it would have been too much, for sure. So yeah, maybe it was a good call cutting it out. But yeah, I agree. I liked her a lot. She was entertaining.
Yeah, one of the only fun things I liked about George is he had a line where he says, "If Ong-Bak's so great, why is he headless?"
That's so good. I really liked, so I think my favorite scene in the movie is the big chase scene away from that gang that's going after George.
Yeah, there's two parts of this movie that I remember, because I've only seen it, once or twice at the very, when it first came out. There's only two or three main things I remember, and that's that scene, it's when he does the rope boxing for the first time, and it's just that one cut of him elbowing the guy in the helmet and it splitting in two.
Yes.
Those are
I also remembered when he knee drops that guy through the floor of the scaffolding, because they show the shot 3 or 4 times, and I was like, yeah, you should. It's a pretty cool shot.
But sorry, the gang fighting scene in the streets.
Oh yeah, that part rules so much, and it's got so many neat little funny beats in it that reminded me a lot of a Jackie Chan type fight scene.
You mean when George grabs a knife and the lady goes
and then a lady selling knives walks by, and then it cuts to him being chased by all the other goons with knives. So good. That's literally what I was thinking of.
Right.
But also just all the strange obstacles in the way, just to show off.
You mean
job being able to
a whole circle of barbed wire?
Circle of barbed wire, 2 pieces of glass just slightly apart that he can spin through. Yeah, it's so. I don't know. It's it felt like a good throwback.
On this watch too, I was trying to think about when did parkour become popular?
Probably early 2000, probably around that time.
You think around that
maybe
time?
A little later.
That's what I was thinking. It would have been a little later, because I remember watching when I first watched this. Obviously the kung fu is really cool, but I think I noticed the parkour aspect of it as whoa, look at him go kind of thing. On this watch, I think seeing parkour YouTubers or other things has kind of lost the sensitivity of somebody doing something cool like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Also, I will say you've used kung fu a few times, and is that correct?
It's not. It's Muay
Thai.
No.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Is kung fu a general term or not for martial arts?
If I said it's a kung fu movie, is that bad? Is that incorrect?
I mean, I don't think it's correct.
There are many forms of kung fu, namely Shaolin kung fu, Wing Chun, Tai Chi.
Okay, so it's a fighting style. So if I would, but there isn't any Muay Thai movies.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Ong-Bak, Ong-Bak 2, Ong-Bak 3. This was no, but that was why it was so not groundbreaking. Like, yeah, groundbreaking at the time, because this was the first time that fighting style has been used as a main, martial art in an action movie.
Yeah, that's true. I should just say martial arts movie.
Yeah, martial arts is probably a better umbrella term for us Westerners too. Same with like how I can't remember the name of the fighting style, but the Raid, and the Raid 2 were the first movies to have
Capoeira.
No. Pencak Silat. Silat is what I remember. Silat.
Oh yeah.
And it's a very particular like type of martial art, right?
Mm.
And so is Muay Thai, and that's why it was so novel to see somebody really fucking good at it do it.
A lot of elbows to the top of the head, though.
Yes, which I love because that would hurt so much.
And knees
like,
to the chest.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I think the knees to the chest are much cooler than the ways that he finds ways to hit them in the chest.
Yeah, when he's able to like jump in the air and like propel himself forward so hard, it's like he's got a rocket in his ass, and then he just like shoots his knee into someone's chest. It looks like awful.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks great, but it looks like it would be awful.
That was one thing, especially at the end. I wrote down, I think some people got legitimately hurt filming this movie. Like,
he whacks a lot of people on the head with a big stick, and it looks like he actually does it.
well, even in like the kicks and punches too. Like some of them look like there's no way to fake that. They just must have been like, okay, well, pull your punch a little bit, but here it comes, full force, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. Especially at the beginning too.
Just got killed.
Yeah. You know what? Rope boxing. That'll kill.
That'll kill.
And at the beginning, there's this hole in the village with Tony Jaa where they're like, and a bunch of villagers are trying to capture the flag from the top of a tree.
Oh, you mean the people who fall out of the tree?
Yeah, that's gotta hurt too.
Yeah.
They go crashing down out of that tree.
Yeah.
And I think only like two of them do that where, they start up high and fall and then they cut to them like falling inches from the ground, right? Like that sort of angle.
Yeah, there were some surprisingly realistic looking big falls. I don't know, maybe they had fake ground or something. I don't know how movie magic works.
Insha, you said before you had a couple of questions. I want to hear these questions.
Oh, they were specifically about the credit songs. Right?
No, I had a lot more questions. So, my first one throughout the whole movie until the end was like, does he actually know this guy? Because it just felt like he didn't, but that was answered, so I'm good.
Who's he?
The George.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like it felt like it wasn't answered at all until the final minutes. So I was just like, oh, okay, I'm satisfied. The guy who fights him the first time in the bar, the bald guy, right?
Right.
The second guy who fights him in the bar, the one with the hair, right?
Right.
Is that the same person?
No.
Are you sure?
No. You think the second guy was just the guy in the wig?
I think it was just the guy in the wig.
Could have been. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time an action movie reused stunt people and just dressed them up differently.
And also, I don't understand his entire thing. I have a lot of questions about this guy in particular. He has a quote that's like, that's why Thai women come to my country and become hookers. What does that have to do with your fighting style?
Come on, you wanna fight me? Come on! What are you waiting for? Let's go, I'm here, come on! What, you scared? Let's go! Come on! Let's go! What are you waiting for?
มีอะไรอ่ะพี่ออส
บิ๊กแบร์เนี่ยท้ายทิ้งชก
Come and fight me! Come on! Thai boxing's good on stage. You should try freestyle. You won't beat me. Thai people are not strong enough. That's why Thai women come to my country and become hookers. Come on! I'll show you.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Australian guy?
Yeah, that guy just was a wigged version of the dude before that he
No,
knocked
I'm-
out cold.
No,
No, I'm
wait,
looking
if
up
you're
this-
talking about Mad Dog, are you talking about Mad Dog? As
I'm
the
not
first
talking about
bald
Mad
guy?
Dog, no.
Oh. Who, by the way, looked exactly like he belonged in Backstreet Boys. So it's weird when they were like, "Oh no, Mad Dog," and he walks up and he's like, "Tell me why."
No, there's Mad Dog, Pearl Harbor, Lee, Big Bear, Toshiro, and Dr. Sack. And
I don't remember Dr. Sack, but I wish I did.
and they're all
It
played by
was-
different actors.
So it must have been Big Bear, the
Yeah, it
long-haired
was the guy who played Big Bear, and then it was the first guy, and I don't remember what the first guy's name was. But they
Pearl
just
Harbor,
looked-
wasn't it?
Pearl Harbor was the
Maybe.
white guy, so it could have
Well,
been.
both of them were
But you're
white.
saying they were different actors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they weren't.
They looked exactly the same. So I
Yeah,
will-
except for the long hair and being different
I will
people, they looked
always-
exactly the same.
like, well, he like when he fell down, it looked like his wig was about to fall off. So I don't know.
You know, I agree that it was probably a wig. I do agree with that. But well, sorry, what was your question about him talking shit about Thai women?
What does that have to do with his fighting style? Like, why was that a thing? What does that have to do with fighting?
I think it was just trash talk
It's stupid. Anyway,
because he was getting him to fight, right? That was
dumb.
when he was like, because he started harassing the waitress, and then another guy stood up for her and he started beating him up because he wanted Ting to fight him.
which just walk away, my guy. It's not that big of a. I mean, it is a big deal. No one should
Yeah,
assault women.
it sounds like a
But-
well. Also, it sounds like a dog shit movie that I hate. It was Tony Jaa, like you've never seen him before, not fighting in the entirety of a film.
And then the very, very last thing I think I had a question about was, the ending credits had the songs, and it was the two songs, and they were both in French. Why? Because
I got a rap song that was in English.
Yeah, the one I thought I had was English.
Yeah, I got a rap song that was in French.
Oh, maybe.
French, they're French rappers.
I know that. Where's the French in this movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, maybe the version of the movie that you watched was from the French,
No.
and with English subtitles.
But at the same time, like, there's no French. Why is there a French song
I
playing in my
think-
credits? I don't like it.
Hey, none of us like the French, but what are you gonna do?
It did seem out of character to have a rap song at the end.
It's very funny too because it clashes very tonally with the final scene because the final scene's kind of celebratory but also like solemn, and you know it's like I can't think of another ending that.
Well, there's
Because even that would make more sense. I was thinking the ending of the first Star Wars movie when they're all after they all get the medals if it got to a fucking rap song, but that would have made a lot more sense than the rap song in this.
there is an ending where he doesn't die. By the way, Humley doesn't die.
Really?
Yeah, they filmed it. They filmed an ending where he didn't die, but at the end he's just bandaged up, limping, and his arm's broken, and he's being supported by his parents at the village.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, but then they decided, nah, better just to have him die and have a meaningful sacrifice for the village.
Yeah, I think it works. I
Yeah.
like it.
Like I said, I think he was a jackass through most of the movie, and I didn't like him. So to have him, come around at the end, and me to actually like him, and then to have a kind of a sad ending was nice.
And he got the shit bashed out of him by that big sledgehammer at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be crazy if he just had like a broken arm.
How much do you think that guy needed that wheelchair? He seemed like he was walking fine at the end.
Oh yeah, he's a faker, huh?
I didn't like the smoke hole though.
I hate seeing those things in movies.
Oh, you know what? That's the other thing too. For the first part of the movie, he had to use one of those the electronic lyrics, and at the end, he was talking fine with. Well, not fine, but
Fine. I don't know if he's talking fine. So you're just saying he's lazy?
I think so. I think this is, or he's putting up a ruse.
No, it's a ruse. Oh, you think he cut a hole in his throat to throw people off guard?
To think that he's not as powerful.
It's possible. A line I have written down that made me laugh was the voiceover of George reading the letter from his dad. And for some reason the line, worse than that. Oh, because it was after saying how there's a drought and there's not a lot of water to go around. And it was worse than that. Don stole Ong-Bak's head.
What do you think that dude was injecting when he was pumping himself up for the fight?
Steroid.
I don't think they work that fast.
I mean, you had a couple of.
Yeah, I don't know if you can just... you clench your fist and it spreads really quickly.
And then at the end, he takes 5 of them and jabs them into him.
Oh, it was a cool shot when Ting beats up all those people in a row in the fighting ring, and then he wins over the crowd and they're all throwing coins at him. That was a cool shot.
Yeah. And we'll say that the cinematography, or sorry, not the choreography of all the fight scenes are really well done. I think a couple of the moves get a little repetitive. Like I said, like him using the elbow on the top of their head. Except
Right.
at the very end when the blood spatters off of the one guy,
Yeah.
like he cracks his skull open. That's really cool. But I think overall the choreography is good. The one thing I didn't like though is like they do like this weird instant replay thing a lot.
I like that. I like it because it's like like, yeah, it kind of breaks the reality of the movie, but they only use it a couple of times when it's something cool, and it's like, it's kind of like them nudging you in the arm and being like, see how fucking cool that is? And they show you like 3 different camera angles of it. I like that. I mean, and also that's a like martial arts movie staple. Like that happens in other stuff a lot too.
Yeah.
So I like it. I agree. It's definitely like a weird break from reality of a film, because it's like, yeah, it's odd, but I like it.
But it kind of like, it felt like it was like a YouTube video. Like,
Oh yeah.
like you ever watch something like, there was one that I've seen, like Dude Perfect, I think is like a YouTube channel where they do like crazy stunts with things.
How did you find a YouTube channel called Perfect Dudes?
No, Dude Perfect. Anyways, it felt like that, where like, you know, they just do something cool and then have 8 million replays, and then like the generic kind of music that's happening in the background while he's doing all these cool moves sounded, I don't know, it felt, obviously not at the time because YouTube wasn't around back then, but seeing it now, it kind of felt YouTube-esque.
I agree with that.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's possible. I don't think I've seen YouTube videos that did that, but I'm sure there are perfect dudes who do.
There are perfect dudes on the internet, Michael. I swear.
Lots of instant replays. So I believe it. Like you were saying about the choreography and whatnot, I like that the camera work really shows it off. Like, there aren't a trillion cuts to everything. You can actually see Tony Jaa fighting people, and like the camera doesn't stay locked down. It kind of flows with the movement of the fight, and it cuts obviously, but it's not like a jumbled mess to cover. Because I mean, you got Tony Jaa and he can actually do that shit, so you want to show it off, right?
Yeah, they do a lot of that one-man camera where they just follow him around a little bit and like wait a long time before the next cut, which you just see him get to punch and kick a bunch instead of you know, 1 punch and then cut, and then 2 second punch cut, 3rd punch cut, so you can and I think that really does well. Like I said earlier, like it makes it feel like people are actually getting hurt because you can't cut away just before you punch his face.
Yeah. There's a famously awful short little scene from, I think, Taken 3, where Liam Neeson's character jumps over a fence, and there are, I might be exaggerating, but not much, something like 12 or 14 cuts to the scene of him jumping up, swinging over a fence, and jumping down, and they cut away like 12 times to different angles to make it look like Liam Neeson, 65-year-old Liam Neeson or whatever the fuck, like easily jumped over a chain link fence. Which, you know, makes sense when you've got Liam Neeson doing shit like that, but Tony Jaa can leap over shit in a single bound, so, you know, keep that camera rolling.
One of the other scenes that I thought was legit awesome was the guy carrying around that 2-person saw and like attacking Tony Jaa with it, and then Tony Jaa puts up his arms and like it stabs into it. Oh, it made my skin crawl a little bit.
It had really good gushy sound work in it too. Every time he was like pushing against the arms, there was like squelching in the soundtrack.
And they had that good sounds with like him like whipping it around too. Like it sounded like you know, the thunder thing, like
yeah, the wobbly,
right.
Yeah. I like that part stands out to me a lot. I really enjoyed that part of the fight, especially because it's like, I guess there are knives and guns or whatever, but it always seemed like everyone was fighting with sticks of rope for the most part. So it was a very like novel weapon to use in a fight scene like that, especially against a hand-to-hand guy, because he literally had to block it with his forearms, which you know you can't do for long. Or, if you're me, ever. I would die instantly. Ow. What about you, Insha? Could you fight a giant saw?
Why would I want to?
I don't think Ting wanted to either, but he had to.
I think he didn't need to do half of the shit that was in this movie, but everybody was just like, you're a coward, so fuck George.
He did need to do it. He needed to get the head back. He needed to get Ong-Bak back.
Nah.
Yes, he needed Ong-Bak.
Nope.
So another cool thing in the foot chase through the alley, one of the shop houses says, "Hi Spielberg, let's do this together."
That's really funny.
So this is.
I liked.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I liked in Don's apartment. He has a poster of the not a very famous Tony Scott movie, Spy Game, with Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. And it was very distracting when he had him up against the wall there, because it was just Brad Pitt's name over his head.
So this movie was supposed to be like the launching platform for Tony Jaa. How well do you think it did?
Oh, you mean financially?
I meant like for Tony Jaa's career.
It did well, but I also have a little segment to read to you.
Oh, okay.
About ultimately what happened to Tony Jaa.
Uh-oh.
But I think it did well. People took notice. Like Jackie Chan was a huge booster of Tony Jaa. He wanted him for Rush Hour 3 because he was showing the director a bunch of like videos of him and like, this guy fucking rules. But I guess scheduling wise, it didn't work out. Why? Do you have an answer about how good it was for his career?
I don't have an answer. I was just thinking like, I mean, I think since then he's been in some minor roles in some pretty famous movies, but I don't think he's reached the Bruce Lee level of fame.
He hasn't. I think he easily could have been, although maybe not. I mean, Changing Landscapes, like, he kind of was coming in at the time where it's hard for anyone to be an international superstar who wasn't already, you know what I mean? Like, the only big superstar I can think of that works worldwide is like Tom Cruise or something. Do we have an action star that big anymore? Maybe The Rock?
The Rock?
Maybe, but not really even. I think it's more segmented than it used to be. But yeah, he totally could have been the next Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan or even Jet Li.
Jason Statham, maybe?
Maybe Statham. But he's always been a little more, not low rent, but like a smaller film. Like not...
Yeah. But he's at least
his
starring
solo
in
films.
He's starring in a lot of different movies that do a lot of the same thing.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, he's got a varied career. Or not varied, but he's got like a solid, consistent career. But I think when this came out, it got a lot of international attention for being a cool martial arts movie with a new style and like a new actor and like action star. And I think he got a lot of pressure from Thailand to like, put them on the map a bit.
Right.
And he suffered from a nervous breakdown. Yeah. So he did, Ong-Bak was big, and then he did The Protector, which I think was huge too. And a couple other stuff, or things. And then in 2008, Jaa ran out of money while shooting Ong-Bak 2, a box office flop that had to be split in two because of major behind-the-scenes production difficulties. Jaa suffered a very public breakdown during the making of the movie, and he was so intensely unhappy during filming that he briefly disappeared from the set for 2 whole months and briefly retreated to a Buddhist monastery in Surin, Thailand. This is from a Vulture article that's literally titled "Whatever Happened to Tony Jaa," and they're quoting Todd Brown from Screen Anarchy, who said, "First, Jaa appeared on TV, weeping and vowing to complete the film. Then he publicly issued a set of demands to production house Sahamangkol, threatening to disappear again." I butchered that. Threatening to disappear again if they were not met. Among the demands were the insistence that he be released from the long-term exclusive contract that he signed with the production house. Shortly after this, Jaa was whisked away in a car full of production house heavies, prompting speculation that he had been kidnapped. Not true, Jaa said when he reappeared, but whatever happened was unsettling enough to him that he took refuge in a police station, where he later met with the company boss Xia Zhang. That meeting resulted in Jaa's demands being dropped, Jaa agreeing to split Ong-Bak 2 into 2 movies to allow the company a chance to recover the cost overruns. The creation of a major new role for a different star and directorial duties for the remaining shoot were handed over to somebody else.
Oh, man.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it does. It really, that's some like old school Hollywood, like, you're our person and you'll do what we say, you piece of shit. So no wonder I think he got disillusioned, rightfully so, and took a big step back. But like in recent years, he's like Furious 7, right?
Yeah.
And
I would say in the last 6 years, he's probably come back and done some minor roles. Like you were gonna say, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage.
Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. Furious 7, he's been in some straight-to-DVD action movies that have been, like, solid. In 2015, he was in a great movie called Killzone 2, which is one of my recommendations later. But fantastic, like, role for him. I think he just needs to, like, he could have a great career. Like, Scott Adkins is one of my favorite action stars. And he's never been used right in Hollywood. Like, he's been in Doctor Strange. He was in Wolverine Origins and shit. And other stuff. Never used right. But, like, in straight-to-DVD action movies where they have freedom to choreograph shit and do camera work and not worry about how much it costs daily to fuck around. And he can actually like show off. He's really good, and I think Tony Jaa needs like a straight to video action director to really take an interest in him, and he'll be fucking amazing again. But I totally see why, like reading about that situation and how much pressure that must have been, and how much like would have been weighing on him. Like you can see why he took a step back, right?
Yeah, poor guy.
Well, whatever. He could still kick my ass, so I don't feel that bad for him. anyone who could kick my ass never gets sympathy from me. But yeah, he's very much like his career. It wasn't like Jean-Claude Van Damme or a Stallone. It definitely wasn't a Jackie Chan, who is, I would say, maybe arguably the most successful action movie star of all time. Consistent career, except like recently, but I think he mostly kind of retired recently. But
Right.
consistently for decades, you know, amazing films,
Absolutely.
popular films, yeah. And not like Bruce Lee, where he's iconic, but similar kind of to Jet Li, where big splash on the scene and then kind of faded a bit, you know?
Yeah, but then now
Yeah.
he's doing like some minor roles here or there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope he keeps it up, because I like when he pops up in shit.
Well, I'm out of note.
I think I said Mad Dog looked like he's in a boy band. So, yeah, I think I'm out of notes now.
Insha?
I am done.
Alrighty. You know, Tony Jaa was in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Michael?
One of the worst movies of all time.
That's right. He played the stunt double for...
For Liu Kang?
Liu Kang. Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man,
that
that movie
was way
so
before
bad.
Ong-Bak. Would have been like 5 years before.
What's that? Yeah, because the first one was 95, so that must have been like 97, 98.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie has one of the worst line reads of all time, where I can't remember the character's name, but her mother is like one of the villains, and she's like, "Mother, you're alive?" And the lady's like, "Yes, too bad you will die."
Yeah.
And it's
I think
so
we
bad.
already
I'll
talked
cut
about
it
this
in.
exact same thing.
Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die.
Do you think we did? Okay.
Maybe the last episode of the episode before, or maybe we were just talking about it.
Possible.
Anyways, would you call that a cameo?
Now I know you're just a cameo. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Now I know you're just a cameo. Oh, oh, oh.
No,
All right.
he was a stunt. He was a stunt worker.
All right. It's a who cameo this week, Michael?
It's an E cameo.
No.
Yeah. So I picked one that you guys both know. Nothing particular. I mean, I don't want to oversell it, but nothing that interesting about it. However, because 5-star reviews. Some of the reviews are fun, but nothing controversial or anything. But it's somebody you both know. His name's John DiMaggio. He's an actor, and more specifically and more famously, he's a voice actor. He was Bender in Futurama, Jake the Dog in Adventure Time. I think he voices the main dude in Gears of War, and in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just Googled him. His face doesn't look familiar, but saying that he's in all those things. Yeah, I think I did know it.
Yeah, his voice is really familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Bender. He was in the suit. He was in the suit.
What, is he allowed to do the voices?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because that would greatly change my...
Yes.
Because if you remember, somebody else we talked about couldn't...
Yeah, they said specifically not to ask for... Who was that? Oh, that was Sam Witwer.
Yeah, well, that was Darth Maul, right?
Darth Maul, yeah.
Yeah. So if he's
But I feel like...
That was for specifically because Disney was suing.
Yeah, I was going to say Disney seems a lot more litigious than... You think Cartoon Network cares if John DiMaggio does a Bender voice?
Well, here's the thing, is that, like, it's weird that voices would be trademarked. Or copyright protected.
I think it's character. I think pretending to be a character. Yeah.
Right. So if he did the Bender voice, but didn't say he was Bender...
Maybe. That's interesting. It's literally interesting. Like, I would like to know the ins and outs of that, because I guess it's because they have been, maybe it's a contract thing. Maybe because Sam Witwer still does voice work for Disney. It's in his contract that he can't make money doing it for anything else.
Right. But you think
because
maybe because this guy is no longer making Futurama episodes, then Or
maybe. I mean, I'm pulling it out of my ass. I don't know.
No,
because
That
it
makes
should
sense,
just be covered under... He's not pretending to be Bender. He's just showing off the Bender voice, right?
Right. Because Disney would be like, okay, don't do the voice or else we're not going to pay you anymore, and get somebody else to do the voice of Darth Maul.
And you could argue, depending on what he says, I'm sure you could argue it's like parody or satire, right? Because like Tom Hanks could go on a talk show and dress up like Forrest Gump. We're pretty Forrest Gump heavy this episode, so maybe I'll pick someone else. No, so he could go and like pretend to be Forrest Gump for a sketch or whatever, and it's covered under like a parody.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it is a contract thing because Whitworth still like does work for Disney.
Yeah. Well, we don't even know if John DiMaggio does any of the voices for his cameos.
That's true. He does not specifically say not to. And he ends his bio. He says, Bender in Futurama, Jake the Dog in Adventure Time, Marcus Phoenix in Gear of War. It's Gears, dude. Several Gears.
Right.
King Zog in Disenchantment, Draken in Kim Possible, and a bunch of others. And then he ends it with, holler at me. He responds in 16 hours, 126 5-star reviews, 497 in his fan club. I almost read what you can book him now for.
Man, 100 people, that seems low.
126 reviews. Again, I do think most people who get it would give a review, but I think there are some people who don't give a review. But 500 people in his fan club, that's a solid number. Yeah. Hold on, let me quickly scan these reviews. You guys talk over what you think about John DiMaggio.
I think he could charge quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think if you could get him to do a voice, then it is worth a lot more.
I've seen him at cons where he's happy to do any voice you want. Like, he was next to another Cartoon Network person. I think it was the girl who plays Marceline, or it was the dude who plays Jake. Either one. All in a line of Adventure Time. But he did the voice for people because he just could.
Right.
So, I think...
And John DiMaggio's not impressions, but characters, like, Bender is kind of just a gravelier him, and Jake the Dog is kind of a slightly higher him. You know, he's got kind of a general voice anyway.
Yeah. It's like H. John Benjamin in a weird
Yeah.
way. You know?
I mean, he's definitely way more versatile than H. John Benjamin. But yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of for sure. That, like, although I will say H. John Benjamin, to go off on a tangent, the voice is the exact same for like Coach McGurk, Archer, and Bob Belcher. But weirdly, he manages to put character in the voice. Like, if he said a line, I think I'd be able to know which of those three characters he was saying it as, even though it's literally just his voice.
No, there's something about it where I watched Bob's Burgers before I watched Archer, and every time I try and watch Archer, it takes me so far out of it. Like, Bob is talking about spy shit. I can't get into Archer at all because of H. John Benjamin anymore.
Yeah, but I knew him as Coach McGurk from Home Movies, and that he was like iconic in that. So when Archer and Bob's Burgers started, I knew it was H. John Benjamin, but I think he does a good job of selling the characters.
I do agree with Tim, because Coach McGurk to me is way more different than Bob, so I can live in both of those universes. Archer is just like a whole other different thing where I'm just like, you sound way too much like the four people that I know this actor from, and it's fucking me up real quick.
I disagree. I think all three of them are far enough away from each other, character-wise, if not voice-wise, that it doesn't... I don't see the overlap.
I don't know.
I think we're all on the same page that it's the exact same voice. I just think he does a good enough job of even just pronouncing sentences differently. Like, I could tell the difference. I
think my problem is that I can see that voice on Coach McGurk and I can see that voice on Bob, but I can't see that voice on Archer.
Like, it's because you know what H. John Benjamin looks like.
Yeah, it's very possible.
You know what he looks
it's like, yeah, Bob looks like H. John Benjamin, and Coach McGurk, I guess, looks maybe like a less bald H. John Benjamin.
Yeah, like two schlubby guys in there, you're like, what? A hot and spy?
No.
Anyway, we should go back. I think, I remember seeing it was like a video, and he might have been on it. I know, what's his name, who did Batman? What was his name? Kevin Conroy?
Mm-hmm.
And there were a few other famous voice actors and actresses who read a script, and I can't remember what the script... Oh, I think it was Star Wars. And they read it, and they all did, in various scenes, did various different characters that they normally play, but they read them, like Luke was Batman for a scene, and then he was something else Kevin Conroy does for a scene, or whatever. So yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of... But I mean, I don't think they charged money for that. Although it must have been at a Comic-Con, so they kind of did.
I mean, no, they just charge you for, like, if somebody...
Admission, yeah.
No, if somebody comes up to you and they're just like, oh my god, can you sign my autograph? And then they just do the voice.
Yeah.
That's a whole different
like, that's
thing
not...
than being like, can you do the voice? And then also, please pay me, like a cameo.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my best guess is contract. That Sam Witwer still has a contract with these.
Sense. Anyways, I'm gonna go with 100.
And especially because it would be with... Wait, hold on. I want to read one of these reviews. I know we're going long. I'll cut out some of that chunk about H. John Benjamin because that was useless. So this one's weird and kind of sad. It's thank you so much, John. This meant the world to me and my dad. We both cried, and I think this is going to be the kick to help him get his smoking to a healthy place where he wants it to be. Thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. Jesus, that's so sad and sweet. I want to watch that.
No, the sad part is the kid buying a cameo of John DiMaggio as a pick-me-up for his dad to stop smoking. Like, that's...
I don't think it's like a little kid, Tim. I think it's like a 30-year-old.
No, I imagine a 6-year-old looking through his pennies.
It's like, oh, I saved up enough money doing photography that I can buy a cameo of H. John Benjamin.
Not H. John Benjamin, John DiMaggio.
No, fuck! John DiMaggio. Yeah, all of them are great. Like, they all seem to love... I haven't found a single critical word in any of them. So, yeah, he must be great at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with $125.
125? Insha, what are you going for?
Just because he's J. Kim Bender, 100.
It is exactly $100.
Oh,
all right.
Fun. He's affordable.
I honestly think he could probably charge a little more. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you told me $200, I'd be like, yeah, all right.
See, 200, I would probably be like, oh, I don't know, that's a little much. But I picked it. It was between this and another one, and I picked it because in my mind, I was like, that's perfect, John DiMaggio. Like, perfect. Like, he probably could charge a little more, but I think 100 is a sweet spot where it's like, if you love Adventure Time or Futurama or Gears of War, I guess, and you were like, shit, I want to, or you knew somebody who loved it, and you were like, $100 for like a cameo from that person, like a personalized message from it, that seems like an easy no-brainer, like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, like, yeah, if he charged one, like, all I meant was like, yeah, I think 100 to like 150 is the right price range for him. Yeah, but if if he told me $200, I wouldn't be like shocked about it. I'd be like, yeah, all right, that's a little much, but okay, yeah.
Especially since, and looking through the reviews, he does do the voices. Because a couple of them mentioned, like, it was nice hearing from Marcus Phoenix and somebody else. Being roasted by Bender and Marcus Phoenix for Phoenix for taking over 8.5 years to propose to this lovely lady, blah, blah, blah. So that sounded, I mean, maybe he's just talking in general, but it did sound like he does do voices, so.
Right.
Definitely worth it, I think.
Yeah.
I say worth it.
Yeah, that's a cameo for me. Like, yeah, if he's doing the voices, definitely $100 is definitely worth it.
I think even if he isn't, let's say he isn't, I've heard him on like commentaries for Futurama episodes and stuff, and he seems like a very funny, chill, like off the cuff dude. That I bet his cameos in general are just good. Insha, what do you think? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Would you work it?
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude too. So
he does seem like a really cool dude. Yeah. He's in. What am I thinking of? Is it an episode of The Office? I don't know. We're going long on John DiMaggio, so we can.
He also plays Ibushi's bodyguard in Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that's right.
Gonza.
Good for him. Yeah, so I think that's 3.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Good for cameo.
But now I know you're just a cameo. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Now I know you're just a cameo. Oh, oh, oh.
Okay. That was it? That was you saying it? It was so quiet compared to what you usually
Cameo!
No. We're gonna do the first one, so you're just gonna sound like a psychopath for the second one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Modern. He was in an episode of Modern Family as a boat captain, and he's in an episode of Better Call Saul as a construction foreman. And I remember him from those because I recognized his voice, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Bender!
That's Bender.
That's Bender! That's Jake the dog!" Anyway, this is a cameo spilling over here.
Yeah. All right, Michael, would you film run Ong-Bak?
Yeah, I would film run Ong-Bak. It definitely holds up as a great action film that makes great use of its star and doesn't get in its way by trying to give us a plot we don't give a shit about. I mean, we barely give a shit about Ong-Bak's head, but they know that. They know it's an excuse to watch Tony Jaa fight, and I love it.
Insha?
Film run.
Yeah, it was. I film run it. Yeah, I film run it. It's really fun. It's just a dumb adventure. Yeah, I just film run it. I really kind of want to watch it again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I agree. It's a film run. Just from the spectacle of Tony Jaa elbowing people in the face. Like you're not going in. Like you're going in for exactly what you want, which is a lot of fight scenes and a lot of punching and a lot of kicking.
Mm-hmm.
And this delivers. So yeah, film run for me.
A triple film run.
That's right.
Is that our first one in a while? Or no?
Might be.
The Rock had it, didn't it?
I don't remember if Insha said she
can't
liked The
remember.
Rock.
Eh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember if you ran or or walked it.
I think she walked it.
yeah, that's alright. It was alright.
It's all right. Or what was? Oh, VFW. No, I walked VFW. Oh, I was the odd man out on that one.
I'll have to go through the notes to see what it is.
So recommendations. I'll go first. Well, if you're looking at that, The Protector, another great showcase for Tony Jaa. A lot of good filmmaking in that. There's an amazing one-shot fight scene that rules. SPL2, A Time for Consequences, aka Killzone 2. That's really good, and it's a good use of CGI in fight scenes. Like there's a fight scene at the end in an office building that is it's like clearly everybody fighting in the scene can fight, and the camera work is great, but they enhance a lot of the elements with CGI in a solid way that you rarely see. Then he was in Triple Threat recently, which wasn't as good as it could have been because it has Tony Jaa, Scott Adkins, Michael Jai White, who the fuck was Iko Uwais from The Raid. The Raid's another recommendation. But it's a solid movie. And then I'd also say Fury, which is
The one in the tank?
Furie, Fury. It's a Vietnamese action movie where a lady's daughter gets kidnapped from a village, so she goes into the city to get her back, and she's like an ex-gangster hiding out, and there are a lot of great fight scenes in that. Furie, Furie. I think it's on Netflix. It's great. Daughter, slightly more important than Ong-Bak's head, I gotta admit. So stakes a little higher.
Insha?
Oh, so these are no way Muay Thai. It's just like the vibe of them kind of reminded me of this. Cradle to the Grave and Romeo Must Die. And the one action movie that I saw with a lot of mixed martial arts that I really love is like Boyka Undisputed. So that, and that's the end of my recommendations.
Yeah, Undisputed 2 to 4 are really good if you like fight competition action movies with a lot of varied styles in it too.
If you want to see Tony Jaa again, you can watch movies that Michael has already mentioned. Furious 7, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. And if you want to see somebody search for a head again, you can watch Sleepy Hollow. There's also another movie that looks interesting called Jiu-Jitsu with Nicolas Cage and Tony Jaa.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, but I was just looking at the screen caps of it, and it just looks insane for some reason. So I want to watch that one.
Yeah, and my man Frank Grillo is in that. He's great. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I actually heard bad things about it, but I can't tell if it's just generally because it's like a straight-to-video movie or if it's legitimately bad, which,
Yeah,
50-50.
with Nick Cage, you don't know what you're gonna get sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure he's good in it regardless, but
Yeah.
who knows about the movie around him.
Yeah, 2.9 on IMDb, 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, 27% on Metacritic.
Love it. Great. It was also disappointing. Wasn't that Willy's Wonderland? I thought it was bad. I haven't seen it either.
I liked it.
Did you see it, Insha?
I liked it. I liked
Yeah,
it
I remember
'cause
you
it's
saying you liked
fucking
it.
Stupid, but I liked it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it got. I remember seeing bad reviews for that, but again, it was like just a straight to streaming or whatever movie, so I can't tell if it's just snobbishness or if it actually is a piece of shit.
I think it relied, or it was. People were kind of already drawing comparisons to it from like Five Nights at Freddy, which it is. Let's not lie about it. But at the same exact time, I think it's Nick Cage just having a lot of fun. And that's what I kind of like to see. I even brought it, to be honest with you, because it was like $7 at Best Buy. And I'm like,
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, I'm going to buy this. I want to see Nick Cage have some more fun.
Didn't you say it would work as a sequel to Mandy?
Yes.
Like, that's his life. He moves away.
I mean, what else do you do? Oh my god, imagine her presence. I feel like you need to see the movie to know this, but her presence being in one of the animatrons would make so much sense. Sorry.
What? Yeah, now I gotta watch the movie. Also, it's bonkers to me that we've been talking for almost an hour, 15 minutes about Ong-Bak. Like, watching it, I was like, this movie rules, but there's no way we're going to talk this much about it.
I 100% agree. I did not think we would go over time at all.
I thought it was going to be a chicken run situation where we were struggling at the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But anyways, next week is a Michael pick.
Yeah, I have chosen 1988's Miracle Mile.
Oh, you've talked about that before.
Have I?
Well, I think you've asked me before whether I've seen it, is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
And maybe you said I should watch it. No.
Maybe. But don't. Well, no, yeah, now do. Do watch it.
No, I'm not going to watch that.
Have you seen it, Insha?
I don't know what this is.
Good. Yeah. It'll be a nice surprise for everyone. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Great. We'll find out if I enjoy it next week.
Oh, cliffhanger.
What
if I think it's shit?
Yeah. You never know. Well, you will next week.
Pour l'honneur et même jusqu'à la mort, un dragon sort et vient marquer son nom. Oh, un dragon. La sueur coule comme de l'eau, effleure le sol, les balles et son ombre. Oh, un dragon. Sa peine, griffe, gifle comme un coup de fouet dans le dos. Oh, un dragon est né dans la douleur, cherche la vengeance, la rage au bout des crocs. L'odeur d'une salle, de cuir usé d'un sac de frappe, la transpiration, le bruit d'une corde sur le sol cap. Shadowboxing, oublie la rue et les strings pour monter sur un ring et pour en devenir le king. Homme discipliné, un regard déterminé, une volonté confirmée, un esprit de battant acharné. Frappe, mets les gants, frappe, encaisse, esquive, gauche, droite où l'adversaire t'attrape. Installe les yeux, John, garde ton équilibre, des gestes rapides, monte ta garde et reste lucide. Des marques au visage, au boss sur les tibias, c'est le métier qui rentre avec le cœur, les tripes et le ventre. Pour l'honneur et même jusqu'à la mort, un dragon sort et vient marquer son nom. Oh, un dragon. La sueur coule comme de l'eau, effleure le sol, les balles et son ombre. Oh, un dragon. Sa peine, griffe, gifle comme un coup de fouet dans le dos. Oh, un dragon est né dans la douleur, cherche la vengeance, la rage au bout des crocs. Oh. Après Bruce, les Jack et Jet Li, arrive un nouveau dragon, faites vos paris. Encore plus vif, encore plus puissant, un style inédit. Dans la tradition, la passion me taille pour la vie. Chaud. Dans les villes où ça deal pour que les coups défilent. Un dragon booste sa pile dans ce milieu hostile. Un patron, acrobate, souple et rapide. La puissance et l'honneur face à tout ça te sert de guide, donc fais le vide. Va chercher la force où se trouvent les ancêtres, surtout quand ça se gosse par les combats et les gros traits. Des putains de blocs, des coups en stock à notre époque, carton et Bangkok, y'en a dans le froid.